and I rejected his kiss, and then he got my number, and
But I did call you.
yeah, you did. I know. And guess what? Like, I didn't even care if he did or didn't. This is the beauty of my position, of my head, where my head was at.
I wanted to know why you didn't kiss me.
Are you serious? Is that why you called me?
Partially.
Oh my God. Will is here with me.
Hello.
And we are talking about our first date. Okay? This is going to be gold. Okay? Because I know a lot of you are going out on your first date. Okay? And you are wondering, oh my gosh, am I doing this right? And my answer to you is fuck no. No, like a hell.
You're doing it all wrong.
You are. And I don't blame you. Because I was doing shit all wrong too. Like, this is so important, this episode, because I feel, and I know, we all have this game that we all have to play, and it fucking sucks. It's exhausting to be like, okay, yeah, we're dating, and everything stays fucking surface level. No one's talking about real shit, and you're chatting endlessly with guys. It's like, what am I doing? I'm just losing brain cells, losing time, and this goes nowhere. Is this resonating with you? Are you like, oh my God, this bitch is talking to me? I'm like, yes. This is something that I want to stop, this fucking madness. And I'm telling you, this is not on you. Okay? I feel like we are in the Matrix, and I'm going to give you the fucking red pill. And this is a time that we're going to change everything. I want you to listen to this episode so closely and like take this shit in. And even though it's completely different from what all your friends are telling you, and you're gonna like finish this episode and be like, oh my gosh, I'm like excited, but I'm like scared. This is crazy. I really want you to take this and please just do it. And you're gonna be like, oh my God, this crazy bitch Jackie was so fucking right. Okay?
What's the harm in trying?
Yeah, what's the harm in trying? You're so adorable. I can't stand it. Okay. So let me tell you. Let's tell the story. So on the last episode, you heard about when Will and I first met, and I rejected his kiss, and then he got my number, and
But I did call you.
yeah, you did. I know. And guess what? Like, I didn't even care if he did or didn't. This is the beauty of my position, of my head, where my head was at.
I wanted to know why you didn't kiss me.
Are you serious? Is that why you called me?
Partially. Yeah.
Oh my God, you're so fucking cute. I know, we're so like nauseating. I'm sorry. No, you guys must love this, right? Listen to me. You're adorable. When he called me a couple days later, I was like, oh yeah, that's that guy that I met. Okay. Like, no big deal. This is something that I really want you guys to understand. If you don't feel this way right now, you will. The more you embrace my method, okay? The crazy love method is where you are gonna find a relationship where you can be completely real and authentically, zenfully you, right? So you are exactly who you are. You don't have to be anybody but you, and you're gonna be absolutely loved for it. Okay? And the sooner you show up as your true self, your authentic self, and I'm talking about the first hour you chat with anybody or meet anybody, okay, you are yourself. If they don't like it, who gives a shit? That's not your person. Do you see what I'm saying? And the longer you play the game and are surface level bullshit, like the way that we are told, oh my God, don't scare him away. Oh, you want children, but don't tell him that. That's going to be too much pressure. Fuck him. Like, seriously. Because Will and I really want this to inspire you, okay? Will and I sat there at Scotty's
Landing.
Yes, and it was a place in the Grove, Coconut Grove in South Florida.
Now.
It's gone now. What do they put there? Like a Monty's? No, it's next to Monty's.
No, it's next to Monty's. Some other big, I don't know, tourist trap.
Yeah, it's a tourist trap bullshit. But anyway, we went to Scotty's. And let me tell you something. I planned it where I already had an out. Okay? Because every single guy leading up to that date with Will never lasted more than an hour. Okay? So you're going to hear about that on other episodes, right? But this one, so I packed my car. I was ready to go to my sister's. My twin lived up north, like in Boca or something.
About an hour away.
Right, so I packed my car, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Scotty's for happy hour, And a side note, I usually don't recommend drinking on the first meeting. For some reason.
But why do we order a pitcher of beer?
We ordered a pitcher of beer because, like,
Newcastle.
Is that for real what we drank?
No, I remember you ordered Newcastle, and I said, okay, this is amazing.
Oh, why did you think that was amazing?
Because I love Newcastle. You're
so cute. Okay, I can't stand the cuteness with this guy.
That was your first check mark.
Well,
I had my own thing going on here.
You had your own list? Oh my god! Oh no, he didn't have his own freaking list. Of course, I'm gonna like go like flying colors. Okay, so I pack the car. I tell him, oh yeah, I can only go for a drink, and then I'm gonna get out. So I sit down at 5:00. I see him. Like, oh, he's cute, right? Just like I remember him. And we start talking immediately, okay? And we're not talking about the weather. We're not talking about bullshit. I start to share things about myself that are important, okay? I have this list of 23 things that are super important to me. I looked at it right before getting there. And I'm already kind of dating ninja, where I share about myself, make space for him to share, and we can either go back and forth or not.
I didn't know I was being interrogated.
Yeah, no, that's right. Did it feel like an interrogation?
No, it was a casual conversation. It was lovely.
Exactly, a lovely conversation. Like, he had no clue. This is something that I need to say. It's that I didn't go into it like, I'm going to interrogate him and ask him. Like, I was like, let me get to know this guy. Let me make sure that I am seen for who I am, right? And let me see him. I feel like sometimes I think that, some of the women, you may take this and be like, okay, I have a list and I'm going to go through the list and yes or no and buy, No, it's like you want to create space and really share openly and vulnerably, right? And I did. And things that were important to me. So I don't know what's on your list, right? But things that, for me were family, right? Family was super important. And I will never forget. Like, this is like one of the sweetest things that you said about your mom.
Okay.
Oh my God. It was like, shut up. I was like, I'm really close to my parents. I have dated guys. And this is something that, we're going to talk about in another episode, right? Where I've dated guys where they didn't like my family. They're not family oriented. And, that blew up in my fucking face. So I was like, let me see if this guy cares about family, right? So I told him how much I cared about my family and, what a big part of my life they are, right? And he shared about his. And what he said about his mom, shut up. Like,
you gotta remind me. I don't remember.
No, you don't?
What did I say?
Okay, stop. Nola better listen to this. It's so cute. You were like, my mom, so it's me and my brother. That's not his, all of a sudden, I have like the softest voice. Me and my brother. It's like, oh, it's me and my brother, and we have my parents, and, they're awesome. And, my mom was like, struggled with severe rheumatoid arthritis for years, And, I'm like, I know that down the road, like, I'm the one that's going to be the son that takes care of her, like, oh my gosh, I could have just died. I was like, this is the sweetest man. He's just like, I just felt like your heart, and I felt like he's such a good, I was like nodding.
It's a solid line, let me tell you. No, I'm kidding.
I am telling you, like, to me, that was so powerful, right? Like, I was sharing and I was like, okay, green light, oh my gosh, flying colors with family. But then he said something. I mentioned past relationships. You guys, this has to come up on the first date. And I know there's a lot of like dating expert people and gurus and whatever, and they say, don't do this, take your time. I'm telling you, okay, fuck that shit. I am saying, I mentioned past relationships because you could tell so much about why they broke up. Like, why didn't it last? Okay. So you told me about your exes.
Mm-hmm.
The one that was like 6 years, right?
Yes.
There was a 6-year relationship that he was in. So I was like, oh, that's awesome that he has no commitment issue. But like, what the fuck happened? Like, what did you do? Like, are you a cheating bastard? Because that's bye-bye time. It's bye-bye.
No.
Well, no, I'm saying in my head, I'm thinking, I want to know what he did. Like, what happened? Like, why did this fail after 6 years that you invested your time, right? So what did you say? What did you tell me?
I don't know. I mean,
You don't
it's so long ago. I don't remember what I told you. But no, I mean, it was a long relationship. I was young. I got into the relationship when I was like 19, I think. So, it lasted till I was about 24, 25. And, one of the things that sort of bugged me is that after I broke up was nobody told me during the relationship, like, oh, you guys weren't compatible. It was after we broke up. It was like, oh, you guys weren't compatible. You guys fought all the time. And I was like, well, why couldn't you have told me that during the 6 years that I,
Yeah,
spent there?
that's a problem that does not exist in my family. My family's all up in my business. Like, they would tell me, like, the second they met a guy, oh, yeah, that guy no sirve. He's no good. Get rid of him. But, of course, I was hard-headed, and I would keep a lot of guys around that I shouldn't have. But either way, live and learn. So here we are, and he's telling me about the 6-year relationship, and they weren't compatible, and it didn't work out. So he wasn't like some kind of scumbag and awful person. Okay, that's good. But then he mentioned, oh, I had another relationship with that girl for like a few months, and you had just broken up. A different girl, and they just broke up a month before.
It was like 10 months or something.
Okay, it was a 10-month relationship, and they had just broken up a month before I'm sitting down in front of, like, together on this date.
Which is partially why I wasn't out looking for a new relationship. I was just out there, having fun, dancing and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And so, like, my whole, like, mind right there when he said, oh yeah, I just got out of this, a month ago. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh shit, run. Because that means he is just like healing or going through some bullshit breakup, heartache. And, but instead of just thinking about it in my head, okay, listen to this freaking advice, okay?
She said it.
No, I'm serious. That is gold. That is.
No, it is. No, 100%.
Because so many times we are on a date and talking to somebody and
you hold back.
Yeah, we fucking hold back. We hold back. We're like, oh.
Why do you hold back? Yeah. Or not you, but why does one hold back?
Exactly. Because, oh my God. Yeah, they don't want to scare them away.
Yeah.
They don't want to scare them away. Normally they're thinking, oh, I don't want to ask any questions because I don't want to scare them. But let me just like think that and then fucking, And
then break up 3 months later.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Like what the fuck are we doing?
Time.
Wasting fucking time. Like I feel like, look at this. When I get really like into this shit, I could feel it. Like I get chills, I'm telling you, instead of me just thinking about it and being like, oh yeah, he's not emotionally available, bye, and I leave, I'm like, oh, you're probably not ready at all to like get into anything, right? Like anything.
But I was.
And he said it.
It was a mutual breakup.
And and he was like, no, but wait, it was a mutual breakup. And no, I'm perfectly fine. Like he was so fucking cute. Like I was like, oh my God, okay. So I was like, I was so happy that I brought it to the table. It also takes a certain amount of vulnerability from my part of saying, hey, so I guess you're not really interested or in the right headspace to jump into anything, because that requires me admitting that I am starting to give a shit about you. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is what is so fucking beautiful about this episode that I'm telling you guys, and about this date, is that I showed up open and vulnerable. My heart's on my sleeve. I was all in. Like I was like, let me just talk to this guy and really tell him, because that's what I had always done to these other dates that only lasted no more than an hour, right? And here I am talking to Will, calling him out or even mentioning anything, and he is responding like in such a way that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like we're back and forth, can't stop talking.
You even tested me with the cigarette.
Oh yeah, I know. That was like I even took a cigarette out, you guys. Like, oh, what the hell? I never
You were
smoke.
testing it. You're kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
because at the time you were a smoker.
yeah.
I didn't smoke.
Like barely. I was like a social
Yeah, social smoker.
smoker. Yeah,
And you're like, well, if I'm a social smoker, we're out socially. I'm gonna light up a cigarette and see if he is
yeah.
okay with that. If he's not, then he's not the one for me.
Yeah, when things were going so well in that conversation. Oh, by the way, like, wait a second. Before that, yeah, it was 4 hours later. It was 9 p.m. now, and we can't stop talking. And I go to the bathroom. I take out my list. I literally take out my list, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, no one's ever made it like this. Like, never made it this long. Like, this is crazy. And I'm looking at the list like, oh my God, we've talked about so much, and it's so amazing. I'm like blown away. I call my sister. And she's like, Jackie, where are you? I'm like, I'm still on this date with this guy. She's like, what? He made it past an hour? Like this long? You're still, what are you doing talking to me? Go back and talk to him. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to go see you tonight. Like, I don't think I'm driving to you. She's like, get the hell out. Oh my God. She's like so excited because she knew my method and she knew that I stuck to it. And she was already like, wow, this guy must be really worth her time. Because she knew how much I valued my time. And nobody was going to take more than an hour. And here we are 4 hours later. Okay, so when things are going so well, I'm like, I'm going to take out a cigarette. Because I was like, this guy isn't going to last. Like, he'll leave. Because...
Too good to be true.
And what did you do?
I was fine with it.
He was fine with it. He was like, oh, no big deal. I'm like, what? What? How is this possible? We kept talking and talking. It was amazing about all these things that we were just so compatible. Our values, everything that he was passionate. He was a hard worker. He had his own place. Like there were so many things. There were so many things that I knew that I wanted, and I was covering. And I even went back to the bathroom to look at the list. You know what I mean? Like I was like,
kept going to the bathroom. It's so weird. Thought she had a problem.
No, I didn't go that many times. You're not drinking whiskey on podcast ever again. I swear. He actually has a freaking whiskey here. On the last episode, I'm like, babe, you could have loosened up a little bit. And he went and I'm like, I think you should have a drink. And he got a whiskey.
I took it to heart.
Now you're too loose. So, okay, here we are. It's been now hours. We closed the place down. Like Scotty's is closed now. And Will and I go off to his car. Oh my God, the cutest car with like a yellow, like Volkswagen.
1999 Volkswagen GTI in Ginster yellow. VR6.
Oh my God, whatever those words mean. Okay, letters and numbers, but it was a cool car for sure. And I'm wondering, oh my God, we're talking so much, but we haven't kissed. Like, is there any like?
And I'm thinking she doesn't want to kiss me because I tried to kiss her on the dance floor when I first met her, and she gave me her cheek. I thought you were a little prude.
Wow, ew. Whatever. I don't care. I'm like a little prude. Do you see how he's thinking that? I know. No wonder, because I was thinking, why, like, I have to see if there's chemistry, right? Because my energy, I was so drawn to him, and we were drawn to each other. We were talking and talking. But I'm like, oh my God, he could be like my best friend, but maybe there's no chemistry. Like, the kiss is very important. And at this point, I'm thinking, yeah, like, I want to kiss him. I want him to kiss me. And it's 3, I think it was 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning.
Something like that.
Something late as shit. Okay. And finally, he kisses me. And I'm like, boom. Fireworks. I'm like, yes, shut up. I was like, this is crazy. And then I was like super like just excited and giddy that like when I left, what happened?
You pull out of the parking lot and you have to go right or left, and one way was your apartment, one way was not your apartment. You went the wrong way.
I went the wrong way. I was like, I don't even know where I'm going. I was like, but I was like, this is amazing. I was like, it was so powerful and empowering, right? When I went into the date with clarity, knowing that I know what I want, right? And I'm going to put myself out there. And, I had, at that point, had gone on, a lot of dates, and nobody made it past an hour. And I had no remorse about that either, because I had faith that my person is out there and I'm going to eventually find them. And I just wanted to be available. And guess what? There you were, Teddy. There you fucking were.
Made it.
I am like am telling you, so many women that go, that I've worked with and coached, they always say to me, they're like, oh my gosh, when I really start to do this method and like lean into it, and I don't waste my time with the wrong people, and I don't text my ex, and I don't fuck my ex, and I don't do this with this other guy that isn't worth my time. Like, I really, next thing you know, they're finding the love of their life. Like, I cannot tell you enough. And I am like convinced that the universe and God has your person waiting for you. You just need to get out of your own way. And that's like what my method does. It got me out of my own way, right? It gave me space to be available. I showed up and we connected emotionally. Like, we didn't, and by the way, remember, we didn't have sex for a month, right? That was my 1 month, which, by the way, some of you may think that's too short, too long. I don't know. But for me, that was like a long time. Right, Teddy?
Yeah. Extremely long time.
Extremely too long. Listen to me. We're going to have more episodes when we talk about all that stuff, okay? But for now, I really hope that you took a lot from this episode about the first date. Show up, open and vulnerable. Make sure you know what you want. Nothing physical on the list. Put things that are really important to you. Values, all those things should be on your list. And express what you are thinking. Don't assume stuff, right? And I feel like your person's just around the corner. Like, I'm just excited. I want to hear from you. Email me, look at the links below, and just share with me how this is helping you in your life right now. Getting rid of the people that are not worth your time and making room for the love of your life. Yay! Thank you, Teddy, for being here.
Anytime.
I'm gonna drag your ass. I'm gonna drag your ass up in here again. You know this. All right.